one thing that is with us when we look at the future of work is this anti-work movement, and there's a lot of talk about it. I know their subreddit has almost 2 million subscribers, so people are clearly interested in this.
Yeah.
And we spoke about poor mental health and burnout. They're factors for all workers, but particularly around low wage and essential workers. And they, but there's, some people are going further and they're wondering aloud if there's purpose to their work, if there's purpose to the economic system itself. And do you think that the supporters of the anti-work movement will achieve their aims, which really seem to me to be that people should self-organise and labour only as much as is needed, rather than working the long hours we touched upon earlier, and this idea of creating, excess capital or goods? It seems to be kind of leaning into kind of anarchy and chaos, but do you think that's a movement we need to really pay attention to?
Yeah, absolutely, because, what we've seen for most of the modern industrial age in terms of the power balance between the employer and the employee has been, obviously significantly tipped in favour of the employer. And look, a lot of this actually isn't new, because if we go back to 1928, when Keynes actually said, within 100 years, we'll only be working 15 hours a week because, we'll have all of these advancements and, we'll be more productive. And actually in 1965, a Senate committee in the US predicted that Americans would be working 14-hour work weeks by the year 2000. So these ideas aren't actually new. And so we saw this anti-work come out of, a Chinese factory worker who was 31, and they have a culture of working 9 to 6 days a week. And he said, quit his job, drew his curtains and lay down in bed. And so it became the lie flat movement as his protest, as you said, against peak capitalism and this excess. And then it has taken off around the world. And again, as we said, I don't think people are not wanting to work at all, but this idea of, do we need to have all this excess? How much can we balance that with the pursuit of things that are important to us? Because if we look at mental health in the workplace, if we look at the state of people's physical health, presenteeism, just being at work and being sick, costs, in Australia before COVID, that was $54 billion a year. All right. And that's replicated in many countries around the world, in the UK, in the US, obviously on a much bigger scale. And so, we're kidding ourselves if we don't realise the cost to productivity, the cost to the economy, the cost to society of the work practices that we have at the moment. And so, I think this conversation has become quite widespread now, and people are thinking, yeah, look, we can do this differently and better, because what's the point of working all of this, these hours if my health is so poor I can't even see my friends on the weekend, or my kids are saying to me, you're never spending any time with me, all you ever do is be on your phone doing email.